see. What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever expounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission. Even diffusion. Vast and fast. Detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Olayinka Herbert Macaulay, politician, nationalist and journalist, was the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer, surveyor and architect. Born on November 14, 1864, Herbert Macaulay was the founder of Nigeria's National Democratic Party, the first political party in pre-independent Nigeria. Scholars of Nigeria's political history describe Herbert Macaulay as the intellectual bulldog of 19th century Nigerian nationalist movement, in a deference to his qualities as founder and leader of two foremost political parties, Nigeria National.
Western Spring Television, ours it is.
Thursday edition of Morning Spring is live on your screen, and we are super glad to be back once again. Good morning to you from here, and this is Western Spring Television, the station, the only station, I can affirmatively say that, the only station that says it as it is. Welcome to Morning Spring. This is a program that runs on your screen Monday through Friday, and it's always bumper, it's always filled with quality at all times. Today promises to be exciting and very, very worth watching, because quite a whole lot will be discussed on the show.
That's right.
For today, as we do daily right here for Western Spring Television. TUNDE IDOWU remains my name and will definitely remain my name. At the irresistible TD on X. Welcome to Morning Spring, and good morning, Femi.
Good morning, Tunde.
Yes, right.
Good to see you
Same
again.
here.
And good morning, Nigeria and Nigerians as well. Wherever you're watching us from, all over the world. Good morning, world. Good morning, everyone. Femi Ojo is my name. Good to know that you are there, always following us, sticking with us Western Spring Television, especially on this program, Morning Spring, where we look at issues of public importance, very trending and topical ones. That's what we do here at this time, 7 a.m. every weekday. Thank you for joining us as well. On this program, we look at the headlines. Firstly, what are those stories, interesting ones, choose the ones that you will want to know, hear, and see. We first look into that, and at the other side of that, we then get talking about these issues, having it on the front burner for you to be a part of. Let's tell you that you can be a part of this by following us on our social media platforms, on X, on Facebook, and on Instagram at Western Spring Television. Also, we are live right now, always. Whenever this program is up, we are live on our YouTube channel at Western Spring Television. Please do like, share, and of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Good to know that you are there. Many things to talk about today.
Absolutely.
Yesterday, news had it that the Shogun of Ogbomoso, Gandhi Olaleye, has been sacked by the court. Many persons received that with surprise. By the way, it's not possibly entirely the stories leading to that. It wasn't exactly new because there were ruckus, there were disagreements, even between the ruling houses and even within the Olaleye dynasty themselves. In fact, it was one of them, I think Kabir also, who went to court to say that dynasty, they didn't really present Oba Gandhi, that it was just due to some persons that there's one Abdul Wahab Olaleye, who is the secretary or so, who does possibly the talking or selection or the final endorsement for them, didn't do all that, and that the court, the High Court in Ibadan, Ogbomoso rather said, no, he should stop parading himself as the Shogun of Ogbomoso, and many persons never saw that coming. Possibly they thought, yeah, the king has been installed and he has been there already.
My leaning here, because when you talk about Obaship, Oba, it's about culture, tradition, and it's not just about, Femi's got the billions or the millions or that about, he deserves, Femi, come and be the next. No. There are things, procedures.
Yeah, there are processes.
The ruling houses are there. Who is next?
Yeah.
When the Queen of England passed on, it was easy. The next person, they know already.
By the way, that's for your own nation, by the way.
That's for
quite easy.
But these are things that should be there.
Yeah.
We know. Is it the Agbeles or the Ladejis or the process? We should know. People should already, the families should know that right after the demise, nobody's praying for anybody to die or to pass on. But everybody will go one day.
Yeah.
There is that process. There is that
selection. The entire process.
It's just,
By the way, so many persons might say it is not far-fetched. It is not entirely new that when the stool is vacant, so many interests will arise, so many persons will come up, so many ruling houses possibly will say it's our turn, and so it's the decision. It will take the custodians of such process and history to say this is how to go about it. Many persons are allowed to signify and say I'm interested, and so it's for the process to be followed through. But then we wait to see what becomes of this particular story as well. And of course, that's talking about yesterday, but today,
the D-Day
is a big one.
The D-Day
at the Supreme Court.
8 months after, about 8 months, right? Yeah, after the election.
Yeah,
here we are. We'll finally know where.
Here they are.
Here they are. We'll finally know who actually won the 2023 general elections and who should be president. We have one though, but by and large, there are two major contestants who are contesting the result of the election.
Some of the parties feel their candidates emerged was the winner rather. INEC, had his own pronouncement to say Bola Tinubu of the APC won the election, having fulfilled certain things according to the law. So it's allowed for them, for the persons or the parties that are not, that didn't agree with that to go to court. It's in our laws, it's legal, and they've done that. The appeal court ruled in favor of Bola Tinubu as well.
Even the election petitions tribunal started from
yes, the tribunal, and then the Supreme Court. And yes, was it on Monday or thereabout? The date was given, and now the pronouncement will be made today. And then trust us to be on the matter. Who will he be? Will Bola Tinubu still continue to be the president? Will there be other pronouncement? But that will be left to the judgment and the wisdom of my lords at the court. 7 of them today will have history beckoning at them for them to say this is it and the right way to go. And after the Supreme Court, by the way, you can only take your matter to God, possibly in prayers or whatever. That's the way it is.
Or get ready for 2027.
Well, which is not too far out, because we're already seeing many politicians preparing for the next. In fact, they say the moment the politician gets into position,
is planning towards the next
next one. That's it. These and more, if time permits, we look into. But we'll take a short break right now. When we come back, we head straight to the headline. Stay with us.
Welcome back, and at this moment in time, let's begin to serve you some of the stories making the round from the various dailies that we have for you for today. And that's right. I'll kick things off from the pages of the Daily Times newspaper. The Daily Times newspaper, just as we rightly stated during our intro, it's virtually common to all the dailies today. And the big bold caption there says, Atiku Obi appeal final today. And you have the big bold headline there. It says, Supreme Court holds aces. All right, we'll find out what that looks like. You have writers that says, will Tinubu remain president? That's a question. Will Nigerians see a new era? That's another one. Today is last lap of hotly contested process. We can keep our fingers crossed, but trust us right here at Western Spring Television. As it goes, we would definitely reel them out. To you. On the top strip of the same daily, air traffic controllers raise the alarm on state of facilities. Air traffic controllers raise the alarm on state of facilities, and the writer there says, disaster waiting to happen. Please, we will not want any disaster. Probably it's not needed. What has to be done, please let it be done. We beg of you. That will be all from the pages of the Daily Times for this morning.
All right, straight to the Nigerian Tribune. The Nigerian Tribune for today, Thursday, 26th of October, 2023. 8-month battle over Tinubu's victory ends today. 8-month battle over Tinubu's victory ends today. As Supreme Court decides Atiku and Obi's appeals, there was the angle of the APM as a party, but that particular prayers of there have been thrown out since. So it's between Bola Tinubu of the APC, who is the president right now, and his challengers, main challengers rather, Atiku Abubakar, former vice president Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, and Peter Obi, former Anambra governor, two-time governor of Anambra State of the Labour Party. 8-month battle over Tinubu's victory ends today. And the federal government should order NNPCL to sell petrol, diesel directly to marketers. Ipman. Take that again. Federal government should order NNPCL to sell petrol and diesel directly to marketers. Ipman. All right. And of course, the pictures of the parties and the candidate that will be in court today is there. You see their pictures there. But moving on, court stops Senate award of 18.4 billion naira compensation to 36 Rivers oil communities. Why? Court stops Senate award of 18.4 billion naira compensation to 36 Rivers Oil communities. All right. Moving on, 2,360 children killed in Gaza Strip.
Wow.
That's coming from UNICEF. That's saddening.
Very, very,
very saddening.
very.
To know that 2,360 children have been killed in Gaza Strip. And these are definitely young people that is never their fault. Possibly when the decisions have been taken, they were not there, and now they are casualties of war. Very saddening. IPPIS. Federal government threatens to remove unverified civil servants from payroll October 27th. That's tomorrow. IPPIS. Federal government threatens to remove unverified civil servants from payroll October 27. Today is 26. October 27 is tomorrow. Perhaps if there is a way anybody is watching us now and you are affected, you have between today and possibly tomorrow to rectify your stance and your position so that you won't be removed, according to the story. All right, moving on. FRIN shut down as EFCC students clash in Ibadan. FRIN shut down as EFCC students clash in Ibadan. Over what? There has been some rumor that some students had to, seize some officers of the EFCC, and so that is what the story is really saying today. If you need the detail, pick up a copy of the paper. And armed robbers invade Taswed private hostels, rape 4 students. That's a very saddening word there, rape. Armed robbers invade Taswed private hostels, rape 4 students. And it's quite barbaric. Whenever that word is mentioned, it should never happen in the congregation of sane people.
Absolutely.
And during the course of the program, we will be looking into that as well, and everything that has to do with it. Very, very sickening and saddening to hear such happening. Revisit 2014 National Confab Report. South leaders tells TUNDE and NAS, that's National Assembly. Revisit 2014 National Confab Report. South leaders tell TUNDE National Assembly it was pomp and pageantry in 2014 when that confab meeting was had, with representatives from different backgrounds, different political parties, and many persons of interest who came together definitely to have that meeting to deliberate on the Nigerian nation, things to remove and things to add to make the nation work. Yeah. But then, sadly, the report is gathering dust there, and that's something that we spend billions to
Honestly,
achieve.
It's always a very sad thing, just like the Orosai report that Nigerians had expected that that was
the
going
review
to be
of the civil service. Yeah.
Look, I don't know. You spend billions of naira to put up something, and eventually, when the whole deliberations had come up and it's somewhere in one shelf, and
no political will to go through. Sadly.
Oh, so sad.
Nigeria would be in deeper trouble if we don't cut waste, Obaseki warns. Nigeria will be in deeper trouble if we don't cut waste, Obaseki is warning. And just like we said earlier, court removes Gandhi as Showing of Ogumosho, orders fresh selection process. All right. That will be all from the front page of, a bit of some of the stories by Elsa. APC reacts as INEC deletes silver from candidate names. Why? Bill to ban CBN governor, deputies, and partisan politics passes second round at Senate, and 9 states get new resident electoral commissioners, and they were appointed yesterday by the president. That will be all from the front page of the Nigerian Tribune for today.
All right, quickly, I'll take my next set of headlines from the front page of the Nation newspaper. And the big bold caption there says, Shetima, that's credited to the Vice President, Hashim Shetima, there. Farm centers in 774 councils to take up soon. Farm centers in 774 councils to take up soon. The writer associated to that story says, Vice President woos investors with Nigeria's 70 million hectares of arable land. All right, please let them come and invest. Then just above that main story as well, you have President OK's, is that President OK's 18 billion naira assurance policy for fallen heroes' families. Those who have served Nigeria in one capacity or the other, in the military or thereabout, at least, yeah, they should, the families should be able to get things to remember them, and that's a good one here. All right. Former EFCC chairman has been released. BARR released. Okay, about 4 months or thereabout. All right. People have said quite a whole lot concerning that, but you can get full details from the Nation newspaper as well. Coming further down, you have no going back on October 34th exit date for ambassadors. And the writer there says government embargoes accounts. Okay. Let's see what we have on the bottom strip of the same daily for today. CBN amendment bill scales second reading in Senate. CBN, okay, so that's a big one here. CBN amendment bill scales second reading in Senate. And on the top strip of the same daily, infrastructure funding, capital market, cash replaces foreign loans. Infrastructure funding, capital market, cash replaces foreign loans. And on the top strip of the same daily, federal government to delist unverified workers from payroll. Oh, okay, we don't work for the federal government though. 10 nominees for Senate screening as Rex. That's the Resident Electoral Commissioners. 10 nominees for Senate screening as Rex. New chiefs for Lagos, others as well. And Oyebamiji Ikeyima appointed CEOs of maritime agencies. Okay, Oyebamiji, this is the former, was that a former commissioner here in Osun State? That's correct. All right. Court removes Sean of Ogumosho, Oba Olaoye. That's actually common to all the dailies for today. And that will be all from the pages of the Nation newspaper for today.
All right, to the Guardian for today. And you have a bold picture of different governors, or former governors, by the way. Ex-governors turned ministers. Ex-governors turned ministers. CSOs demand state pension law review over 2.4 billion yearly pay. CSOs demand state pension law review over 2.4 billion yearly pay. You have the picture of former State Governor Adegboyega Oyetola, who is the minister in charge of the blue economy now. Dave Umahi, former governor of Ebonyi State, who is the minister of works. Mr. Badaru there, I think former governor of Jigawa State, and former governor of Rivers State, Yeson Wike, who is the FCT minister. Former governor of Benue State, who is now the SGF. All right. And many of them, Atiku Bagudu, Mr. Badaru, many of them are there who are now ministers, definitely. All right. And the Senate alters CBN Act to bar governor, deputies from politics. Senate alters CBN Act to bar governor, deputies from politics, all right, and compel NNPCL to remit $34.2 billion to Federation account. Falana tells Finance Minister, all right, compel NNPCL to remit $34.2 billion to Federation account. Falana tells Finance Minister. And Supreme Court delivers judgment today in Atiku B's appeal against Tinubu. Fingers crossed. Possibly the I's have been dotted and the T's have been crossed. All the people are waiting for Nigerians is the verdict. Where will he swing to? And that will be the decision of the 7 gallant and experienced, justices of the Supreme Court who will preside on the matter already. All the best to all the parties interested. And 3, on murder trial over witchcraft allegations, killing of 5. 3 on murder trial of, take that again, 3 on murder trial over witchcraft allegations, killing of 5 today. In 2023, people are still accusing one another of witchcraft to the extent of killing possibly anyone that is accused of being a witch. Who confirms who is a witch? What is the metrim, the SI unit of confirming who is a witch?
Seriously, that's
sentiment, religion, or just looking at merely at their face, or someone just accusing the other of thinking your face is too dark, you must be a witch, or somebody. It might just be allegations. There are some persons who have been alleged to be witches. At the end of the day, they were lynched, and people who know them will say whatever those people have said is because they are mentally unstable. That's why they say those things, that they attack somebody, they have killed somebody, but because, the culture of, oh, you have done something bad, we will, jump with justice and met it out, and people have been killed. But then 3 on murder trial over such, and president approves 18 billion naira assurance policy for families of fallen heroes, and court dismisses suit by ExxonMobil against NMDPRA. And lastly, beware of politicians. Wike warns religious leaders. Beware of politicians. Yes, and Wike is warning religious leaders. Of course, we might not be religious leaders, but be wary of all of you. We take your advice as well. And I'm talking to Mr. Wike and not politicians across board. It's a good thing for religious leaders to stay off as long as it is possible of politics, especially partisan, or using the altar or the pulpit or the congregation for political influence. And that's what Mr. Wike is saying here. This will be the size of the segment here, the headlines, where we've been able to bring to you very interesting stories. We'll go on a short break right now. When we come back, the conversation will continue. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us.
Here are 5 amazing fun facts I bet you never knew about Christianity.
Number 1, there are over 2.4 billion Christians worldwide.
Amazing fun fact number 2. The Bible is one of the best-selling books of all time, with more than 100 million copies sold every year.
Most Christians believe in heaven and hell.
The Bible is the most translated book in the world, with more than 3,000 languages.
Amazing fun fact number 5. Most Christians throw science out of the window without realizing that most scientists are Christians. Hello, I am Pastor Steve Akinwumi.
And I am Dr. Adeoye Oyewole.
Join us as we highlight and discuss day-to-day issues pertaining to the day-to-day living of every Christian.
Issues in Christendom shows every Sunday on Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on StarTimes.
Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was an anti-apartheid activist who gave his all for the elimination of what has been described as the world's most vicious rule of the unjust and man's inhumanity against man. He was born July 18, 1918 in Mvezo, South Africa. Educated and trained as a successful legal practitioner, he took up the gauntlet of a human activist against segregation by the minority white supremacists in South Africa. At the climax of his trial for treason, orchestrated by the minority South African government, the great crusader for democratic equality was prepared to pay the supreme sacrifice to establish majority rule in his native land. He told white jurists that if achieving freedom for his people was worth his life, he was prepared to die. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in Robben Island, described as the most notorious prison in the world. It was from this same prison that he came out as a free man to assume office as South Africa's first black president in 1994. Western Spring Television identifies Nelson Mandela as a watershed character in history. Badamasi Adegoke Adelabu was a prominent figure in Ibadan politics and Western region before Nigeria's independence. He was a key founder of the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, a political party that held lofty the torch of liberty for the two West African countries. He carved a niche for himself as a wordsmith and a creative speaker. The nickname Kwenkelemens was a natively corrupted version of peculiar mess, his bombastic English language style often used to score proceedings at the parliament. The author of Africa in Ebullition, a handbook of freedom for Nigerian nationalists, was Nigeria's Federal Minister of Natural Resources and Social Services between 1955 and 1956. He died in an auto crash on the 25th March 1958 at the age of 42. Western Spring Television identifies Adegoke Adelabu as a watershed character in history.
Sports is a culture on its own. It has its own language, its own people, with their own way of life. The world of sports is never void of actions, stories, dramas, and scandals. I guess you need a sports show that can walk the walk and talk the talk.
On this show, we answer all your sporting questions. The whens, the whys, the wheres, and even the what ifs. Sports Spring is that show that will give you that new lease of life you've been looking for in sport journalism. Join me, Joseph Atewe,
And your sports Amazon, Nengi Ernest.
on this station, Western Spring Television, channel 190, only on Star Times.
Let's talk sports. Let's speak the most universal language of the world.
Our economy, films, and music are well known throughout Africa. But when our wildlife is in crisis, it is bad for our reputation. We are losing our lions, elephants, and gorillas. But Nigeria can change that if we say no to illegal bushmeat and report wildlife crime. Because poaching steals from us all.
Ahmadu Bello, a Prince Royal, was born 6th of December 1910 at Raba Village, Sokoto, northwestern Nigeria. His father was a district head and heir apparent to the Sultanate throne from the house of Usmanu Danfodio, a religious and social reformer who brought the Habib dynasty under the Fulani Caliphate in the beginning of the 19th century. Ahmadu Bello raised the bar of political consciousness in participation when, in 1944, he engineered the establishment of the Northern People's Congress (NPC) as the first political party in northern Nigeria and the rallying point for politicians in the region before independence. History will not forget Ahmadu Bello for his charisma and political sagacity, which provided easy passage for his kinsmen to assume political and administrative positions in Nigeria's post-independence era. The distinguished elder statesman and Sardauna of Sokoto has his face on his country's 200 naira currency as a mark of honor to one of the architects of Nigeria's independence. Western Spring Television identifies Ahmadu Bello as a watershed character in history. This iconic African presents the narrative of a man destined to exert an imperishable global influence in Western education. His was a story of a freeborn, captured and sold into slavery. He was born in Oshogun, a native Yoruba village near Iseyin in Okeogun axis of southwest Nigeria. Samuel Ajayi Crowther was the foundation student of Fora Bay College, Sierra Leone, the foremost university where the pioneer set of native Africans were educated. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's greatest contribution to humanity was his translation of the Holy Bible into the Yoruba language. The man who authored the Yoruba dictionary was also credited with the translation of English classic hymns into Yoruba and the Ekwere languages. Samuel Ajayi Crowther's private residence in Badagry, incidentally the first story building in Nigeria, is an archival museum dedicated to the memory of Africa's first bishop. Western Spring Television identifies Samuel Ajayi Crowther as a watershed character in history. Born Jeremiah Oyeni Obafemi on March 6, 1905, Obafemi Awolowo.
All right, you're welcome back, and it's the Morning Spring on Western Spring Television. The conversation right now will be about molestation, harassment, rape that we keep hearing, sadly, in our communities, and this is coming on the heels of that case, the Femi Olaleye rape case that he was, sentenced to life imprisonment for raping his wife's niece. But then before we get into conversation, you get to see this.
I want to give kudos to the incorruptible Justice Rahman Oshodi. Yes. I have been in this court before. The judgment he read was 40 minutes. I sat in there. Yes, it's 8:30. He left no one in doubt that he saw that there was no remorse in Femi Frank Olaleye. He left no one in doubt that Femi would repeatedly offend if let go. He left no one in doubt that his name should be registered as a sex offender. He made people know that Femi should not be with human beings. That Femi Frank Olaleye is a repeated offender and he will continue to repeat the offense. I watched his body language. All the times I've come to this court, no remorse, no nothing, shoulder up, when he shakes, when dressing. I hear the prison officer is his friend. That's why he's coming out looking all clean and all that. But thank you, Lagos State, thank you.
All right. That you've just seen was Nigerian actress and activist Kate Henshaw, speaking on at the heels of the sentencing that was meted out to Femi Olaleye, who is now a sexual offender. Definitely, it happened in Lagos State, and Lagos has a way of naming and shaming, and they even have a sex offender book that anybody that has been sentenced by the court, the name is put there forever. And is available for anybody to see. And, let's just give you a context to that. Justice Rahman Oshodi of the Lagos Sexual Offences and Domestic Violence Court, Keja, on Tuesday, that was when he convicted the founder of Ultimakia Cancer Foundation, Dr. Femi Olaleye, after he found him guilty of defending his wife's 16-year-old niece, and he stated, that's the joke, that the evidence that was presented before the court against the convict was compelling and proven beyond reasonable doubt. And, the case started in 2022. That was when Mr. Olaleye was first arraigned after he was accused of rape. And that happened to his wife's niece, who was 15 at the time, who is now 16. And it was said quite a lengthy case. You could see Kate Henshaw there said the judgment took 40 minutes to read by the judge. And he is a medical doctor who offers services to people who suffer for cancer-related ailments, especially women from Lagos and Nigeria. Many things that he does for a living, but then we get to interrogate this matter and as the program goes on, and have in the studio joining us to interrogate the matter for that, to speak on it, Dr. Olayinka Oderinde. who is a girl child advocate, and of course, is a clergy, and of course, a retired permanent secretary in the Ministry of Education. Doctor, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. Good morning. Good morning, viewers at home.
Good to have you here speak on these matters. But the word rape, sadly, it keeps reoccurring in our society. When we think this is 2023, we should know more, we should know better, either as man or woman. In fact, sadly, according to some, dictionary, they describe rape as unlawful sexual activity, and usually sexual intercourse carried out forcibly or under threat of injury against a person's will, or with a person who is beneath a certain age or incapable of valid consent because of mental illness, mental deficiency, intoxication, unconsciousness, or deception. That's from Merriam-Webster Dictionary. Having put that there, what do you make of this matter, this case, the Femi Olaleye situation?
Well, you have given us the background to the case. And, well, let me start by saying I didn't retire as permanent secretary in education. I was not in education. I was in youth sports and special needs, and I moved to home affairs. Now, rape, as we have said it, is the worst thing you can do to any man or woman. And I should say that you can also rape a male, but it's just that it's not common. It's just that we find out that it's only girls and women that are reported. And the issue of rape is much more beyond what we hear or see. One, it is not properly reported, and it's because of the society that we live in. If you report rape, the process is such a long, lengthy, cumbersome, unfair process. Because one, you must prove that you have been raped. And I have seen cases where we have evidence. This man was caught in the act, raped this girl. And then you get to people that should help. And then they tell you, where were you when he was raping you? Such questions. Where were you when he was raping you? Are you telling us you didn't enjoy it? No, such things make people withdraw, from coming out to say they were raped. The stigmatization, the embarrassment that people, it is now that people are coming out to talk about it. It is the worst thing you can do to any man, to any woman. It is the deepest assault you can give to anybody. Now, and it happens with the highs, with the lows. I've not been happy with Dr. Olalaye's case. I must say that.
Why so?
Olaleye has been an instrument of help to women. He has a cancer screening center in Lagos where he does free breast screening for women. That's a blessing to us, because one of the things that kill women most is breast cancer. And for somebody to put up his life and set up a place for us to do free screening, it means he has a vision for women. Why is it that it is the same group of people that you are now assaulting? I say, like in the Yoruba parlance, it is Olalaye's case that we have seen. There are several other Olaleyes here and there, in government offices, in churches, in mosques, everywhere, in schools, that they assault people under them. I think to myself, I can imagine Olaleye has 2 children, a boy and a girl. I want to leave out the wife, but think about the girl and the boy of this man. They go to school. Now, the classmates will ask them, what happened to your daddy? They say, your dad has been in prison because he did this, because he did that. The lives of those children make me feel sad, because they themselves now will need therapy. His children must be counseled. They must go through thorough therapy for them to get through the challenges that they are starting. They have not started at all. It is when they are growing up and they get to a particular stage in life that they will understand the gravity of what their father has done to them. The families on both sides, the family of the girl, the victim, the survivor, should I say, the family of Remy, the wife is Remy, the courageous Remy, that could stand and say, my husband has defiled my niece. So it's a lot of things that...
And stood her ground.
She stood her ground. And she provided evidence. She stood up to it and she... You know, I've seen cases where, you know, a father raped a child. And the mother will say, don't send me away from my home. Oh, don't come and destroy my home. And the woman will cover it and also make the child suffer for being raped. So we should also congratulate her and the set of women. You can see the way Kate was talking with the vibes. A lot of times people will say rape is it that bad? How many people have you seen convicted? This one person has been convicted. A high case. This is a high-flying case.
It's high profile. Yeah.
High profile. He's not just a Nigerian lawyer, a doctor. He's not just a Lagos doctor. He's an international person. And it makes me sad that his family is going down the drains. His career is going down the drains. All he has lived and labored for going down the drains. He's going on life imprisonment.
Yeah, and just like I said, Lagos State has that culture of naming and shaming. They have a sex offender book, and they make it public. Anybody could have access for them to know these are the persons who have done. And for one, you know, it's a good angle for you to look at it and say, for somebody with such a promising and big career. Who has a vision, helping women, how come he threw that all away? Will you put that on character flaw? We don't know why. He possibly knows why he does it.
He may not even know. Sadly, he may just, you know, men have flings. You know, they are just flinging around and then kind of
a
got
fling
stopped.
with a 15-year-old?
Well, I don't want to say he has been doing it. There's the likelihood that...
Because one would say you can actually have many consenting women if you want to have flings. Thousands and millions if you want to.
In psychology, we have various disorders. And one of the disorders we have is sexual disorders. People live with... I've seen people who come and tell me, see, I cannot do without sex. That is one possibility. He may have a disorder. And he may not, he might have mentioned it to his friends, and they casually would take him to be, are you funny? Are you being funny? Are you serious?
Just laugh about it.
There is nothing about it. But we know that there is a problem when you are so engrossed with sexual issues and anywhere, anytime with anybody. That is, you know, it's a disorder and it needs attention. It is only the wife that should be able to tell, that will be able to tell us that, well, I cried out because this was one too much. And probably, I'm just saying this, he might have done it before with X and Y and it was overlooked. But this time around, with a 15-year-old, Yoruba people will say a horse does not eat the grass under it. Somebody in your care, a vulnerable child, a 15-year-old, in Yoruba, sadly again, one of the things that make me sad is that this man is from our dear state. He's from here. He's from, I don't want to mention the place. The people know. And he finished from Ife. I'm a great Ife also. So these are things that are making me very sad.
I could say,
you know, I feel very sad. It's not, I'm happy on one side that for once justice has prevailed. But on the other side, I feel sad that efforts are going just down the drains. Life that has been built, a lot of things are involved in this. Even the girl, the victim, it's a whole lot of problem in our hands. But I know that therapists are taking care of that. You understand? So we can. It is. I've been thinking of on what can be the problem of this man. Look at his net worth online. He's not a poor man.
Absolutely.
is healthy. He has the whole world before him.
Yeah, and that's why I had to mention that matter of flings. He could afford as many as he wants.
As he wants.
If it's about sexual,
yes.
That he wants it as many times, you could have many consenting people.
When a man, when somebody, a man or a woman, has sexual disorders, we call it disorder.
So it doesn't
it's
have
out of place. So he goes beyond things that are not convenient. That's the way the Bible puts it. That they do things that are not convenient. It's not convenient. It's not. It's not to be heard. That you are doing oral sex with a 15-year-old.
A minor.
Who does that?
That's a minor.
A micro minor, I call them. Micro minor. Under your care.
Yeah.
It could be that. It could be influence of drugs. When people do things that are not pleasant, that should not be heard, that they work against. Things that he must have at one time or the other spoken about it, spoken against it. Why are you now doing it?
Especially somebody who works with women.
He works with women. He fondles their breasts because he examines their breasts. It could also be a build-up of emotion. I'm not excusing him.
Yeah.
But you know, he's exposed to seeing breasts. Because I've been thinking, what could be his problems? What is it? Like you said, he has the whole world of women.
Who get them?
Women who will even voluntarily offer themselves to him. But it could be a problem. It could be drugs. It could be just a build-up of emotions, burnout. You know, when you are burnt out, you do things that you shouldn't do. So these are the likelihoods, the possibilities that are before us.
Dr. Oderinde, let's...
But it remains condemned. The act of rape
for now.
The act of rape remains condemned.
Yes.
Is inexcusable.
It is not.
All right.
It is not.
Let's move a bit broader, looking at it holistically. This is not just in Lagos or in Osun. It's so prevalent. And looking at the statistics here, that in June 2020, the Nigerian police said they had recorded 717 incidents of rape between January and May last year. 717. Just a few days ago, it happened at Taswed. Armed robbers barged into a hostel, raped some girls, went away with their thing. With this, Dr. Olaleye, I think that's his name, this happening and this judgment that has come out, what do you think? Do you think this will stem the tide that, hey, it seems as if justice is now being meted out to whoever is caught at this time?
I don't think so.
It's still going to
The
continue.
way I look at it is, you know, you are driving and there is an accident, and everybody, a few minutes from there, you see people still driving crazy. So it's like that. People don't learn their lessons. A few people will learn their lessons. Now it is established that you can be prosecuted and you can be jailed. When you talk about rape, people wave it off. Is it not this, that? And then, have you seen anybody prosecuted? Now there is somebody who has been prosecuted. From all indications, this man could have been, there could have been some interventions. Some, please, we know him. Somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. But should I just come up and give kudos to the judiciary? For once, everybody now, we can see evidence that our judiciary is a force to reckon with. Particularly this man who gave this judgment. I want to condemn and commend his efforts and thank him. Somebody said, Kate said, anywhere he sees him, she will kneel down and thank him. I will also thank him on behalf of girl children in Nigeria, women in Nigeria, families in Nigeria. I want to say thank you to this brilliant judge for doing what he's supposed to do without fear or favor. And it's a lesson to all of us. And I want to appeal to men, and should I say women also, the women who rape little boys, that you will be, one of these days, you will go to prison. You will go to jail.
All right, you know, let's put some context into it now, Doctor. It was reported in 2021 that by the United Nations that 11,200 Nigerian women and children were raped in 2020. That was a year before. This is a United Nations report. And then there's these statistics from Women at Risk International Foundation, their foundation, WARIF, Women at Risk International Foundation, that says Africa has the highest prevalence rate of child sexual abuse, around, sadly now, 34.4%. That should send goosebumps across anybody's skin. Now, they said as of 2004, meaning it is not a new thing. 60% of children involved in child trafficking from Africa to Europe were Nigerians. Putting a context on the continental scene now, and that between 2012 and 2013, about 30% of women in Nigeria experienced one form of domestic violence or another. Now, findings from a national survey carried out in 2014 on violence against children in Nigeria confirmed 1 in 4 females reported experiencing sexual violence in childhood, with approximately 70% reported more than one incident of sexual violence. In the same study, it was found that 24.8% of females ages 18 to 24 years experienced sexual abuse prior to age 18, of which 5.0% sought help. Only 5.0. It means it is not reported most times, with only 3.5% receiving any services. Doctor, what is the problem with our society? What's it? Don't let me put society now. You are the one to answer that. What is the problem? Why is rape not going away? Why is it keep being mentioned? Why is we still having it? Especially to minors, because that's another sad angle.
Well, I will bring it to the family. We'll start with the family. We, particularly mothers, I always tell people to find out where their children are. Recently, this week or so, in Oshogbo here, when I was reading the story, I thought it happened in India or one place far away from us. In Oshogbo here, in Sabo, it happened that a carpenter or one of these artisans came and saw a 3-year-old. It's a 3-year-old girl. The mother went to buy something. And that's what I mean by going around with your girls, with your children. Know where your child is. Don't leave them. Don't assume they are safe. Our children are no longer safe. This boy... That's
the sad reality, though.
It is the reality. And you need to tie them around your wrappers. People, when my children were younger, they would tell me that I tie them around me like wrappers. That's what I want. And that's what I want to tell us to do, particularly with our children. Now it is good. Minors, micro minors, a 3-year-old. What would you say is your fascination in a 3-year-old? What is your attraction in a 2-year-old? He took the girl to the toilet around the area, and then the mother was back and was looking for the girl. And then suddenly saw her girl coming with blood. The guy was holding the girl, wanted to return her to where he picked her from. And then he was caught. He was caught, he escaped, he ran into the river. They pursued him. So for you to know that it was deliberate, he took cutlass and caught the person running after him until he was finally apprehended. He's now cooling off his feet somewhere in the correctional center. What I'm saying is that most of these cases are not even reported. Most of these girls will not even tell their parents because our attitude, I said the family, our attitude is that if a child is raped, she's the one that has been raped. She's the one that you will blame. You understand? She's the one that the mother will blame, the father will blame, the society will blame. Why did you do it? Why did you allow him to rape you?
Why will anyone want to blame a victim?
That's what we do. That's what we experience. So that's why when it happens, a lot of the girls keep quiet about it. They don't talk about it. They now talk about it to their friends who also are helpless, who will not be able to help them in any way. So that is the trend that we have observed. So it is the attitude of families. A lot of times also, mothers and fathers also leave their children in the care of others. They are gone. Particularly during holidays. We take our children for holidays. We leave them with one auntie somewhere. And it is in the process of leaving your child somewhere, you will be amazed that that person you are giving your child to take care of for you is the one that will violate the child. Or because 70% of rape cases, rape happens in environment that the children are familiar with. With an uncle, with a pastor, with a choir leader, with somebody in school, a teacher. Not from an assailant, but from people around them.
People they are close to.
That they won't suspect will do such.
Comfortable.
Come and collect sweets, come and collect biscuits. And then they take them in and violate them. So there is need for us as parents to watch over our children with an extra eye. Develop a third eye for your children. Also, why rape is going up, I think, is this reckless increase in drug use. And there are myths in our society. There was a time that it went really, really up. This period, that period of HIV/AIDS. And I learned, I did not confirm, that when you sleep with a minor, micro minor, a baby or so, you will have immunity against HIV.
As false knowledge.
It is evil, it is wicked. And you know, they went about, because when you ask them, why did you do it? Why a baby, a 3-month-old? 3 months. So a child that is still in the womb, virtually. They told us that. Who are the people telling you that? They told us that if we sleep with a virgin, and they assume that a 3-year-old will be a virgin. That's why they are going for them. They say I should go and sleep with a virgin. And these money-making people too, money rituals, they also tell them to go and do some impossible things. Will you be able to sleep with a little girl? I will look for a child. And they go all out to look for a child, a virgin. So because they know that anything above 8 is not likely to be a virgin. So that's why they go for those minor children. And it goes on and on and on. And people that should care, people that know, handle rape, because we are so familiar with rape now.
Who should care? Who should know?
You and I, number one. Every one of us should care. The police officer, did you listen to Kate shouting, calling out somebody? I don't want to mention the name. Calling out somebody that should have helped, but disappeared for one reason or the other, known to her. If you take a case, you can go to the police station and find out about rape cases. The attitude, the response they will give you will amaze you. Rape, this, that. They just throw it up with a wave of the hand.
Doctor, you know, beyond just rape that happens to minors, let's talk about the one that happens to adults as well. Because we keep hearing it as well. And you've talked about so many factors. And I want to talk about society. You know, you talking about these days, you just have to tie your children around your rabbi in a manner of speaking. But when we were younger, there's a Yoruba adage that we translate literally that says it's only 4 eyes that gives birth to a child. And then it takes hundreds of eyes, you know, to look after the child. Your parents goes and they leave you. So, Yalagbaja, please, and you are fine. You come back. But these days, it seems the situation has changed. Is our society failing? What has happened? And number two, looking at the prosecuting agency, some of the things we've had that they will say, you come to the station to report and they'll be asking you, what are you wearing? Where did it happen? Did you go to his house? Did he come to your house? What time of the night did that happen? Are you serious? Please let us be. Please speak to those issues. Societal influence. What has happened to us? Are we walking around with sick men all around? Are the boy, I mean, you know, them are men or the boys? What has happened somewhere?
A lot. The virtues, the societal values and virtues are almost gone. Like you said, in those days, if you commit any offense, before the arrival of your parents, you have been punished.
Somebody will have done the justice.
God save your soul if you report to your parents. Particularly mine. You will start the punishment afresh. But these days, look at the way we live. Look at our flats with high walls. In those days, we were living communally. You understand? We were living in communities. We had some houses, even if there's a house next to you, they will come in and intervene. But now, see our walls. The gates are locked. So whatever happens inside that wall, nobody knows. Nobody wants to. And then you even have dogs. So nobody wants to come near you. If you had the story of somebody who went to school to beat up a teacher, beat the teacher to death for correcting his child. So now nobody leave the child. Let the parents do as they like.
Handle your business, I handle mine.
And that is one. Two is that in those days, we were all sane. They were sane. Now we don't appear to be sane because there is pressure on everybody. You want me to take care of your child? I have not taken care of my own. Do you understand? If the one you are referring to, if you go on holidays with somebody or you after closing from school, you are going to stay in so house, you are likely to take your lunch with them there. Yeah. You do your own work there until your parents come.
Returns, yeah.
And vice versa. But now, the people in their own homes, they have not eaten. So don't think about bringing a child who will come and eat in your home. So the factors are enormous. The pressure in the society is enormous. People are looking for money by all means. So nobody is available for anybody. You are not available for your children. The children are not available for themselves. The people, the neighbors are not even there. So a lot of times I've seen in this our environment, I've seen children taking care of children. Children taking care of children. So what happens to them? You hear children say, let me do to you what daddy does to mommy. Let me do to you. Yeah, it's me. It's not like that. This is the way my own daddy does to my mommy. And they learn from children. Yeah. So that is a big problem. It's a societal problem that should give all of us concern. We should talk about it, keep talking about it. We'll talk about it in the radio, in the television, in churches, in malls, everywhere. So that at least we'll begin to call attention to the need for us, in spite of, it is no more poverty. It is poverty of the right thing to do. It's not poverty of funds. That is a problem.
All right. Dr. Oderinde, just hold on for us a bit. We'll take a short break right now. And if you are just joining us, we have been looking at the incidents of rape and what can be done to stem this tide. It's not something to look into. But when we come back, we'll look at quite a whole lot of other things. The movies we watch, music we listen to, dress sense, so much to talk about. And we'll look at what legal steps could be taken to address this anomaly. Stay with us. It's still Morning Spring from Western Spring Television. We'll be right back.
Arrested, affected, sound, found. What do we see? What do we say? Flowing from a spring. A fact A to Z. Check and confirm. Ever is pounding current events. Traveling down from the business gist to the globally arising happenings, to the sports news, to the bittersweet infos. Guided transmission. Even diffusion. Vast and fast. Detailed facts are fled. Within seconds, nuggets of words that flew across borders are fired. Stories short and long, wrapped in bundles of words, broken and dissected as it is, except misheard. This is the news as it is.
Alias Olayinka Herbert Macaulay, politician, nationalist and journalist, was the first Nigerian to qualify as a civil engineer, surveyor and architect. Born on November 14, 1864, Herbert Macaulay was the founder of Nigeria's National Democratic Party, the first political party in pre-independent Nigeria. Scholars of Nigeria's political history describe Herbert Macaulay as the intellectual bulldog of 19th century Nigerian nationalist movement, in the deference to his qualities as founder and leader of two foremost political parties, Nigeria National Democratic Party (NNDP) and National Council of Nigerian Citizens (NCNC). His matchless versatility in party organization and control kept the British colonialists on their toes in the entire span of his active life. After his death on 7th May 1946, Herbert Macaulay remains a hero of his country, which recognized his anti-colonial struggles. Today, Nigeria's 10 naira coin bears his oval face and trademark mustache. Western Spring Television identifies Herbert Macaulay as a major character in history.
All right, you're welcome back, and the conversation continues, and it's about the rape situation. I was almost calling it a rape culture, but it's a bad thing that would not be seen as a culture.
Absolutely.
But it's endemic, definitely, and sadly, it is the reality of what we are seeing. Taking a cue from Dr. Femi Olaleye, who has been sentenced to life imprisonment in Lagos State for raping his wife's niece, and just taking a cue from that and all other such situations of rape. And of course, we have been speaking with the Dr. Olayinka Oderinde, who is a girl child advocate. And of course, we are being joined right now for proper perspective and the legal angle to this by Barrister OGUNSHUA OLATIMILEHIN, who is definitely a legal practitioner. OLATIMILEHIN, good to have you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good to see you here again.
Good to see you.
What do you make of that judgment, the Femi Olaleye rape case for raping his wife's niece, who has been sentenced to life imprisonment in Lagos State? Your take?
Well, I want to say that upon hearing the judgment, I was very delighted. I was happy because I think it's one of its kind. And more particularly, I give it to the wife. It is very uneasy to see such things happen. And this shows that I think there's proper sensitization of or awareness of what is happening concerning this menace called rape. Because you know, most times when we try to prosecute this evil act, so many people like, oh, is the husband, is the brother, let's not expose the family, let's cover it up. But for her coming out, upholding the law, I think she should be celebrated. Because it is not easy for a woman to expose her husband that much. She came to the court, she testified against him, shows that she is ready to curtail any such act, even if it happens in future. And that has served as deterrent to other men and husbands who think they could do such and get away with it. So the judgment was a perfect one. I heard so many people were saying it was the law is trite and the law is clear. It was before when you say rape is 7 years, but now rape of an underage is life imprisonment. It is in Child Rights Act. It is in the VAP law. So there's nothing you can do about it. There's no gainsaying about it. It is what is before the court that the court will pronounce on. And for rape, the punishment is life imprisonment.
And it appears Lagos State is taking it very seriously more than other states.
Yes.
So it appears.
Yes, other states are also taking it. Because it is what is brought to court that the judges will prosecute upon. The judge cannot come to your house and ask you who raped your child and let's convict him. So now, another people will give it to is the prosecution team. They have done a good job. Because sometimes some prosecutors might want to bend rules, but these ones have decided to stand. And the funny thing is that the rape issue did not only concern the insertion of penis.
Exactly.
It also covers for the insertion of penis into the mouth. So that's another aspect of rape.
Not just oral.
Yeah, that is oral rape.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's another aspect. So when, you know, it has gone beyond you sexually harassing a minor to raping, but how? Via mouth.
It's as terrible as
It's as terrible as that.
Yeah.
So now the Lagos State government has done so well. You know, when it comes to the issue of gender-based violence, you see them taking it up vehemently. And I don't know why it is like that in Lagos. Maybe because we have large number of population.
There is even a sexual offenders book.
And there's a sexual offenders book. And also in Osun State, they are trying their best. They are trying their best because most things we see here or gives us stumbling block is the fact that we are culture drunk.
How do you mean?
We are culture drunk in the sense that they will say, oh, how would you allow this person to look at your daughter? How would you allow this also? You want to expose her? You want to embarrass her? You will not see husband in future? You know, so those culture nonsense. That is what we make so many of us, or so many of the people in the society, not us, because me, I would stand up for such. But for so many people, we're like, oh, do not expose this thing. Let us cover it. I don't want to speak Yoruba. Because it's an English, the only fake or something. Let's cover
Let's just make it an internal thing.
An internal thing. And now look at these perpetrators. You won't see outside that. They are family members, inward people, probably the brother-in-law, the brother to the mother, that's the uncle, the cousin, the nephew, the stepfather, the father. You understand? They are blood-related people because this might not get to trust them.
Absolutely.
Trust issue.
So it happens not too far away.
Not too far away. It is when it comes to strangers raping underage, it is always seldom. But those that happen often and often are people that are closer to them. Because those child tend to trust them more. The neighbor's son. You understand?
Absolutely.
And that is why they like want to keep it under the carpet. Oh, it's a family thing, let's solve it. But once we have people that are bold enough to report this menace, the law will take its full course.
Now, coming back to Dr. Oderinde here, before we went on that break to bring in Barrister here, I made mention of looking at what movies we watch, because I'm going to look at that and the legal way, what can be done to certain movies. When we watch certain movies at home, on social media, you tend to see a lady who is half naked, this and that. Is this, what can be done to regulate this? And I'm going to look at it the legal way as well, to regulate things like, if probably these are things that arouse some men who will find it difficult to say, I like you, and to seek consent. Rather, they will prefer to do it the other way. What can be done?
Is it even a factor? The media, does it play any part?
Yes, the media does.
What we report, what is being shown, what is being heard.
What is being heard, what is being seen, and all that. But you see, somebody said you cannot prevent birds from flying across your head, but you can prevent them from building a nest on your head. You see the same thing other people see. Yes, the videos and all that we watch, there is an agency that does that, that regulates that.
Yes.
So I want to believe that those have been censored enough for them to come up. And if you're talking about movies, I'm aware that your remote has child control. You can control, and that's why when I was talking the other time, I talked about the family. We owe our children responsibility of counsel. to guide them. I remember in those days when parents used to stay with their children. Now, with most homes, is the children that will watch videos by themselves. They are the ones that will on their phones watch. They see what they want to see. But in those days, once it is that kind of movie coming up, you see parents switching off their televisions. You see them putting off this. Now, these are things that personally I don't count as factors.
Okay.
I do not count them as factors. For instance, the person we are discussing now, are you telling me that it is video that made him to go and do that? Is it the song that he listened to that made him do that? He's the only one that can tell you. And I want to tell you that rape is a disorder in the mind of the person perpetrating it. A normal person in his right senses, right frame of mind, would not go and rape, and particularly go and rape a micro minor, like in the case we are discussing. So yes, media, but more than that, individuals, all of us need to hold our lives. The way things are going now, I was telling somebody recently, I said, this is a time for us to be careful. Mind what to say and how you say it. Mind how you react. Because the person going on the street, you don't know what is going on in the life of that person. If you shout too much or you hoot you drive anyhow, the person may just fall down and die. And you'll be the one that you are the prime suspect. So all of us need to work on ourselves. And if the problem again is that we don't own up to what we are going through.
Yeah, I was asking about them. Why don't we? Why do people feel? I don't want to come out. I don't want anybody to hear.
They don't want to seek help, and maybe we should just mention it here that all of us need help. If you have a headache, you have something, you go to the doctor.
Absolutely.
So why is it that you don't go? When you know your medically you are not fit, you go to seek help. And in your mind, if your mind is sick, you know it. You know that, like we normally say it, this thing that you know inside of you that this thing that I want to do is no good though. It's no good though. The way out is to mention it to somebody. Yoruba will say it is somebody who thinks alone that sleeps with his mother. By the time you tell somebody, I want to sleep with my mother, the person will say, are you crazy? Or something. Is something wrong with you? And then it will call his attention to it. So all of us need to help ourselves and help the society.
Barrister, I could see you,
smiling.
Kind of way, like you don't agree with some of the submissions.
Initially, I didn't want to, but later, after listening to some of our explanation, I think corroborated her stand in the first place.
Like factors.
Like she just said that she didn't believe that the dressing was a factor or the movie was a factor, and that was fine. Because even the Bible says, if your eye will make you to sin,
pluck it out.
Pluck it out. Many people are just saying pluck it out.
Maybe not literally.
You understand what I'm saying? That
deal with it.
It takes a mentally disordered person to say he wants to sleep with an underage. Now, talking about movies, fine. Yes, she has analyzed it very fantastically. Because for parents, these days, we have so many burdens on us and we want to meet up. However, in the course of doing that, we should note that those children are our future.
Absolutely.
And the way you lay your bed, so you lie on it. I am a legal practitioner. I am very busy. But these days, I see myself closing earlier than normal just to come home because they are writing tests and I have to put them through. We won't sleep until 10 and we would have woken up by 4:30. Myself and then we'll sit down. We need to read. Now, coming to movies, there are so many times that I sit with them in the sitting room and, probably I said, put it in the Yoruba station. And the guys to where they are kissing, you just see them covering their eyes. I had forgotten that I taught them that once you see where they are kissing, you call. So immediately I just see them covering. I'll say, okay, is this Now, if they go out, the thing is in them now. So once they say something like that, you just see them doing like that because the way you teach the Bible says training up your child in the way it should go. When it grows, it would not depart from it.
Barrister, how about they not even being part of that movie? Because all the movies are rated 18, 16, 14, and if actually they are not yet at that age, how about they not even join?
It is me.
I'm talking generally.
It is the adults that was watching. But I wouldn't want to chase them because even in that movie, there are lessons to learn. You understand? The parts I'm talking about might not just be for maybe 2 minutes part or something.
Yeah, of course.
You understand? And you see, this is also good for us to teach sex education. If a man tries to do this thing to you, it's wrong. But if I start chasing them every time, they will learn it outside. That is just the implication. But once I let them realize that this thing they are doing is for adults, it's not for young children, they would understand it. And now, I come back to the educational system.
Yes.
I think for us as teachers, or for the teachers, the educational system are not doing too fine about this issue of sex education and then encouraging these students or pupils, because when we say underage, they are mostly students and pupils on what to do and what not to do. Now I'm going to I have a girl staying with me, and I'm going to her school this morning. What happened is this. I realized that once I give her money, I give her transport fare to pick my children in the evening. And sometimes I'll just go and pick them. And I'll say, okay, bring that money. She'll start running inside the house. What happened? My uncle borrowed it from me. Now, if you can borrow money from a a pupil, what are you teaching the child? The last one of our friends, a male friend, borrowed it. I said he would do transfer. I said, do you have an account? I just discovered that the girl has opened an account under my nursery. Like she has OPay account. And you see our boyfriends sending our friends that are male, sending money. The money I give with that I swear for, a teacher and the boy are all boys. So you can see what they are encouraging in the school. At the end of the day, I said, okay, bring the phone I have in the house. This is the phone, I have seized it. When I went through this phone, I almost collapsed. Yes, it has gone beyond. In fact, I have called police station at Ojutu to meet me. I'm on my way there. I want to see the uncle that was borrowing money from her to tell me the reason. Is she a bank? Now, that kind of a situation, what else do you need to tell the girl, come and collect the money? And they just mess up with her. So that's why I'm saying, schools, we are not as teachers. In fact, when you see your pupils doing such things, I have to call the owner of the school. I said, are your pupils bringing phones to the school? Now, teaching pupils on assignment to go on the internet has caused more harm than good. Because you send the assignments to the platform, you do this, you do that, you tell them to go and check it, and at the end of the day, it is rubbish they are checking. I had to tell my children's school that please tell your teachers not to send notes on the platform for my children. I paid. And I paid because I expect that you are paying them to write notes on the board.
Absolutely.
I said I won't take it. I'll report to the education. So we all are contributing to this issue. Now we need to stand up for it. Like I am standing up for something now today. Now another person is standing up for something. Before we know it, it will reduce.
Barrister, let me quickly come to you before we come back to Doctor. And it's the fact that it's good that you want to investigate what has happened, because you might even find out what you don't know. Much more. It might not even be a school thing, it might be a personal thing. One teacher who has just chosen to be unfortunate. It's good that you are investigating, by the way. But let me ask, for victims of rape, sadly, very bad, what, as a legal person, if rape happens to somebody who has just suffered that rape, what steps should that person take? Because we get to hear that most persons don't come out on time, and then evidences are lost, and then persons don't go out. I'll still come to Doctor as well for you to tell us the medical or, you know, the social angle to that, as a legal practitioner, what should a rape victim do immediately it happens? So that it should be good for prosecution.
One, the first thing to do if rape happens for the victim is to take the victim for medical test. There must be an assertion that, oh, rape has been committed or has occurred. And what is the test? There must be a penetration. There must be breaking of hymen. Something. It must have been broken. Now, there must be a medical report to establish that. Do not forget that sexual harassment of an underage is quite different from rape. You understand?
When does rape happen?
That is what I'm saying. I just said it now, that it is upon penetration. Then that means that the other person must have penetrated into the vagina of that underage or of that person, breaking through. Now, for an adult, there must have been a show of force. Probably you were struggling, your clothes was rumpled, the clothes was torn. You understand? So all these things the doctors would have established.
How about people that were drugged?
That is
because you are talking about force.
Yes, even if it is force for an underage, you must see the sign of penetration. If you don't prove penetration in court, you might not win the case of rape. There must be the doctor must ascertain that yes, they saw sperm, there was penetration, and the hymen has been broken. Those are the three ways where you can establish rape. Because even if you are drugged, the drug does not affect your vagina. The vagina is still there, and it will show that it has been penetrated. You understand? Now, this reminds me of a case I did of a 2-year-old child. From a school, I go back to a school because we see what is happening almost every day. Now, the child came back from school ignorantly for the mother. She didn't check, or she didn't think about it, so she couldn't have thought that anything could have happened to. But she noticed that the child was not feeling too well. So she said in the evening she just removed her panties and just dropped it somewhere. And the baby slept. Overnight, they discovered that she was bleeding. There was stain of blood on the bed, and what happened? Unfortunately for her, she has speech problem.
The child.
So because if she could talk, you know, at 2 years, there are some children that can talk. Even if they will not talk, well, you would understand what they're saying. They quickly rushed the girl to the hospital. No, they went to the police. Upon getting to the police too wasted time and all that. They couldn't swing into action. Probably they are poor people, they didn't have the money. When they took them to the hospital for tests, police hospital, they didn't wait to collect the results. And, you know, at the end of the day, it was discovered that this child was raped.
2-year-old.
Yes, 2-year-old. The iron had been broken. There was evidence of sperm, but who did it? The school said the child has left when the child was supposed to leave the school. That it didn't happen in the school. Ignorantly, the mother too didn't check the child when she came back. It was after 24 hours. Now, the grandpa was in the same building. The father was in the same building. So the teachers are pointing at the grandpa and the father.
Quite complex.
Wow. Quite complex. Police are saying that it was overnight that the blood happened. That if it was the daytime, immediately she was raped, there would have been a lot of blood stains. So it makes it difficult for us. I cried. Like, I looked at the baby, I carried her several times and I was begging her, like, she could just tell me something
to work with.
She couldn't say anything.
Sad.
You understand? So it's painful. At the end of the day, we just have to drop the case because they said they were going to charge the father and the school, the proprietor. So what do we do in that situation? How do we establish it? So we need to act fast. Once there is a victim of rape, the first thing is taken to the hospital. Once you take to the hospital, then you come back to the police to report because you now have an evidence that an act has been committed.
Ladies and gentlemen, both of you at this point in time, because of our time here, to prevent occurrences of rape, sexual violence, what should government do? One, because the legal side of it, I'm going to ask about what should families, parents, what should we do? Because listening to what Barrister Ogunshua had just said here, honestly, it's actually dampened, and I wonder, you that actually saw that child.
I was crying.
Honestly, I'm actually a little bit emotional. But by and large, what can be done to prevent future occurrences like this?
Well, one thing I know that can be done is what the Lagos State government has done. Once they have these people, convict them. If there's evidence against them, convict them and make it open. By the time we see 7-10 men being convicted in a month, others will sit right. That is one. Two, let there be a kind of compensation or help for the victims of rape. So many people do not want to talk because they do not have help afterwards. What are these help? Let there be medical attention for them. If they are underage, the government should take up their responsibilities. Do you understand? If they are adults, the government should give them good welfare package. Because you see, this rape deals with the mental richness. And it causes depression that some girls might not be able to go out from till their entire life. But once they see something that augments it, taking them away from that environment, putting them on scholarship, they will pick up back. In fact, they will forget what has happened to them. They will see it as like a bad thing that has turned to a good fortune for them. But if we keep neglecting these people, they will not come out. That is just what I believe. But fourthly, the punishment must be 100%.
Yes. Dr. Oderinde, your take on that. And there is another angle which happens, sadly, rape at workplace. It's not just about minors now. Even adults are molested, are harassed. How do we deal with this? And then your take on the same question, moving on from this, having a sane society and having this rape thing reduced drastically.
Yeah, well, the issue of rape at workplace is one that I am always a bit careful about. Because in the universities now we hear sex for marks.
Sex for grades,
Sex for grades. In the workplace, it can be something like that. It can be sex for promotion, for relevance, and all.
For even keeping the job.
And in some cases, women ask for it. When it now goes sour, we now shout, turn it to rape. That he rapes me or he wants to rape me. So a lot of times, one should be very careful when you are talking about adults, you know, a man and a woman. They've been doing it, something now goes sour, and she says it's rape. So one should be very careful about that. The family, education awareness. We need to let people talk about it. There are people that are coming out to talk about their experiences. People who are handling, like she has been talking about what she experienced, what she has been handling. So families need to talk more about it. Let's not cover it. Let's not get afraid. She raised the issue of sex education. Sex education should start from the home. If anything goes wrong, the Catholic will tell you, give me a child until he's 6. I will give him back to you for the rest of his life. Which means between 0 and 6, you do a lot of things. And it is the family that will do that. So I, as a person, as a parent, would want to do my responsibility and not blame it on government. No, we don't talk about government from that perspective. So we need to take these problems and know that we have, when the chips are down, we are the ones facing it. Observe your child. Rape is, like she said, it goes very deep. There's what we call traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD.
Now, children that are not even raped, children that are assaulted, children that are wrongly handled. I tell children that are under my care, from your head to your toe are your private parts. From your head is your private part. Your hands are your private parts. Everywhere from your head to your legs.
On the safer side.
Is there for you. It's not for any
I hope they will not miss their exam with that.
No, in exam you won't answer what is their private part. So we tell them, private part, what's a private part? They tell you. No, I tell them, the entire body is your private, it belongs to you. No uncle, no daddy. Daddy should not
touch you anyhow.
Not touch you. Take care of yourself, bath yourself, give yourself your bath. Daddy should not bath girls anymore.
Absolutely.
For reasons known to us. Because men are very strong, you know, in quotes.
But one will say that's extreme, by the way.
You have not seen men that will tell you that their children are arousing them. You have not seen such.
Definitely.
Because my child is now having shape. She's now having bros. And now I'm beginning to.
Now, by the way, the moment those things begin to happen, no daddy should really bath any baby.
No, don't bath any girl. Just leave them. Let the mom take care of that. Now, what we are saying is that once you discover that your child, the things that your child used to do before, she's now a bit sluggish about it. She's withdrawn, she's crying, she's sad. You need to find out something is wrong. When your child is assaulted, those negative things begin to show up, and we need to take notice of it. In churches, we must talk about rape. We must talk about indecent treatment of children and girls.
All right.
Everywhere we are.
Yes, Pastor OGUNSHUA, I will ask you this. We have like 2 minutes to go. But quickly, it will be very unfair if we don't talk about false rape accusation. These are ugly trends that has been happening, especially among adults.
Yes.
Beyond workplaces, you see people come on social media just like what you have said, because they had issues. Even people who are boyfriend and girlfriends, they come out, and because they want something that will damage the man, they come out to say this. And many of them have come out to say, oh, it's because I was angry. And you see somebody's life destroyed. Some of them, we've seen 1 or 2 cases who have committed suicide because they can't afford it. If I was telling somebody, I said, one thing that will happen to any man is to any woman to accuse you. Nobody wants to hear your part. What could be done about this? Because this is destroying so many men's lives. Nobody wants to hear. The moment somebody says, Mr. A has done this to me, everybody flies with it. When the story changes, nobody wants to hear. You are the legal practitioner here. If you can just do that for us in 1 minute, how serious should it be taken?
Well, giving false information to the police is a serious offense, a criminal offense, and that can badge about 2 years imprisonment or so. So if you that have been accused wrongly knows your owner, then you move to court.
About the societal part.
And for the societal part, you will see some persons debunking stories. You need confidence. This person has said something about, no, it is not like that. This and this. You see people putting chats, conversations to debunk what the other person has said. So if somebody is coming out and saying that, oh, somebody, so person has raped me, and you know that, oh, you had a love affair, post the pictures. Post the conversations to show that it was not rape. You'll see other people commending you for your confidence. So all we need is boldness, confidence, and taking the bull by going to court. You don't accuse me wrongly and expect to sleep in your house. You will not sleep. That is just the truth.
Before we go, I'm just going to ask Dr. Oderinde, how about me? Yeah, we'll be talking. It's more pronounced when it comes to the female world and the female girl rape. The men who get raped, the boys who get raped, is it still a problem that they too cannot come out to say, this has happened to me? Why should it be so? What can they do?
Even if they come out, you won't believe them. People won't believe them.
Some will even see them as a weakling.
How can you? Now, men rape boys. Women rape boys. Rape. Ma?
It looks funny because
women do. Women
obviously.
do. I've seen cases. I've seen all manner of things. You know, that are overtures, that are movement. I want to do this, that. Now, the problem is that there are some things, like we said, they are not convenient. There are things that are not believable. I read that when the evidences of this doctor was on in court, that even his client and his lawyer was shocked.
Yeah.
You know, that this, when issues of rape and sexual misconduct, when they come up, there are things that you cannot even believe will happen.
Yeah.
So I think what we need to take from here is, if government will continue like this, and I want to beg that, you know, should say we have rates, I mean, very high rates of
rape cases, yes, very
in our state. And I think we need,
less prosecuted.
Yes. Yes. From home they will tell you the call to less prosecution. Yes. Yes. So I want to take my little time to appeal to government to, I'm not saying that we should copy, we are a step ahead of others, but we should also high our gains. We should up our efforts, particularly on protection of lives. You know, not just girls. Boys are also defiled.
All right.
Boys are defiled. They give them anal. They demand anal sex from men, from boys. Right. So government needs to do something. Yeah. Media will do something, and all of us together.
We are doing right now.
Like you are doing, yes.
15 seconds.
For the rape for men. Yeah, it is quite difficult to prove somehow. But I think the VAP law, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act, 2021 in Osun State, made a provision for rape of boys. Yes. So now, how do you prove it? You can only prove it by a man raping a man, because via the anus there can be penetration. You know, I told you that the anus of rape is penetration. But for a woman raping a man, we might not be able to prove, because who penetrates who? Do you understand me? So that is just the but that can be shifted to sexual harassment or assault.
Quite unfair, I must say. By the way, Barrister OGUNSHUA, OLATIMILEHIN, thank you for your take this morning, and we appreciate. And of course, our dear Dr. Olayinka Oderinde, a girl child advocate as well. Thank you for your take this morning. And this will be the size of the program today. Let's all have a sane society, a society that we are proud of. Like everybody will have their dignity to themselves and have a good life. That would be my parting shot this morning. Femi Ojo is my name. Have a rewarding day. God bless Nigeria.
If you see something, say something. Don't keep quiet. TUNDE IDOWU is my name. We'll be back again for the Friday edition. And thank God it will be Friday. Bye for now.